Module 5 consideration and selection of materials. بعد تناولنا في المواضيع السابقة والمحاضرات السابقة عمليات التصميم والمراحل المختلفة. جزء من إتمام عملية التصميم هو اختيار المادة، وفي هذا الموضوع هنحاول نتناول الأساليب المتبعة في اختيار المواد. The overall goal of this module is to illustrate how systematic selection procedures can be used to select optimum material for a given component. Also to understand the selection and design recommendations. Also, we will flow guidelines for the selection of manufacturing process, which is related to the material selections. The core of process in the design is how to transform the design process into desired shape or useful product by optimization of the selection process of material selections. In general, the solution of the material selection process is different from the other science problem solutions, where the science solution process only focused on single or time to single correction problems or solution problems, whereas the material selection decision might have many alternatives and considerations, the conflicting advantages and limitations necessitating compromise and trade-off between many alternatives of materials. We have different choices maybe, and we need to select the most desired materials for suitable applications. Also, for example, when we talk about product or components, maybe similar components go to perform similar functions, but this product might be manufactured by different manufacturers or might be made from different materials and still do the same functions. Material selection process is an important part of larger process of creating new solutions to the design problem. This large process is called engineering design. In this slide, we display the engineering design definitions according to ABIT organization or society, where it's defined that engineering by the professional in which knowledge of science or mathematics and experience and practice is applied in order to select an economical way for the materials and force in nature to get the benefits mankind products. Okay, idea generates by the design process can be translated to a reality of useful product only through materials and manufacturing process. So we need to select the suitable material which is satisfy the loading conditions. These loading conditions might be mechanical or thermal or environmental, also reflects some effects on the materials when we use the product. So we need to have materials or to select materials that have supporting loads, also might be to insulate or conduct heat and electricity for different proportions, means to accept or reject magnetic flux, for example, also to transmit or reflect light, to survive in open hostile surroundings, and to do all this without damage to the environment or costing too much. So this is the main goals when we go to select the materials. We need materials to satisfy the properties of the product and to withstand with high strength, stress in mechanical conditions or mechanical loading or in environment impact on this product. So we need materials to satisfy these conditions, and we need the materials to also resist the environmental effects and must be suitable from the costing view. There is the partner in all this. To make something out of materials, you also need a process, which is manufacturing process. So process and materials is married distinctly. So the chosen process has to be compatible with the chosen materials. Manufacturing process must be accomplished by a suitable process to perform or transform materials into useful product. Sometimes it is the process that is dominant partner, and compatibility materials must be found. It is a marriage. Compatibility is not easily found, so we need materials marriage fail, and materials failure can be catastrophic with ISO of liability and compensation. Both material selection process and manufacturing process are related to design of the product design and development. So material selection is an integral part of the design process. We have different levels in design structure. For example, for simple parts, the choice of materials might be easy, but when we talk about component, which consists of more than one parts, a product might be consists of one or more components. The material selection process is generally performed for simple parts and not at the component or product level. So we need to decompose the design parts into the design product into simple parts or components in order to select the materials according to the functions of these parts or sub-functions of these parts. Nature of material selection process. Selecting the optimum or the desired combination of material and manufacturing process cannot be performed at one certain stage in the history of project or product development process, so it should be gradually evolved during the different stage of product development. For example, when we talk about conceptual design, we have many alternatives in order to select the suitable materials from a wide range of material. Whilst when we progress in the product development process, for example, in detailed design, we need to specify materials more accurately, so we need to eliminate these alternatives. After identifying the function of the component, we need to answer these questions. What are the primary design and material requirements? So we need to know what is the design criteria, what is the design objectives, and based or upon these objectives, we need to identify which is the material we need to select. Also, what are the secondary requirements and are they necessary? In these slides, we need to show also the product design and development process, which is begin with the identify the product requirements or customer needs, translating these needs into product requirements or engineering requirements and specifications. The second step is to design and select the materials and apply the design tools like prototypes or any evaluation process. The third step is how we select the suitable manufacturing process and evaluation of the product or test the product. Then we need to monitor surface experience and apply the quality tools to investigate or compare the specifications of the product which we bought first in the design process and the actual characteristics of the product. At the end step, we need to continuous improve the design and or change materials. We have many changes in materials, so we need to replace or substitute these materials. Okay, in this we need to remember or to call the design process, which is consists of many steps. The first steps is to recognize the problems or to identify or define the problems. Then we need to get to establish specifications by translate the customer needs into engineering requirements or specifications. After that, gathering information, generate concept solutions and ideas. In this stage, we need to select, or the selection of materials start usually at these steps with the generation of concept. Analysis and optimization, build prototypes and other trade-off process in order to get the desired alternatives for primary layout of design and flow to detailed design. Evaluation process is need to review the design as a final revisions, and then we presenting the results, communicate these results to the team. After that, approval and release for manufacturing. Okay, in a preliminary and conceptual design, we translate the marketing ideas or needs into industrial design, leading to broad description of the product, which is has the concept generation and select the suitable concept. In this stage, we need to answer some questions like, what is it? What is the product? What does it do? How does it do it? How much should it be? Formulate product specifications, develop various concepts, and select the optimum concept. Then decompose the product into sub-assemblies or groups of parts and or component, and identify the different parts of each sub-assembly, specifying the main function of each part and identifying the critical requirement. In this stage, we need to do the first selection process of materials, which needs to analyze the performance of requirement and creating alternative materials. So we have many choices or many alternatives to of materials to make the product, and we get to the first step in the material selection, which is called initial screening. Means how we can eliminate the many alternatives or a large number of alternatives of materials in order to get the desired or narrow list of materials. Use the critical requirements of each part to define the performance requirements of the material. Start with all materials approximately available and narrow down the choices on the basis of the rigid requirements. Rigid requirements means these requirements is critical in determining the part functions or the product functions. إذا هذه المرحلة الأولى لعملية اختيار المواد، واللي هتبدأ تقريبا بكل الخيارات المتاحة بالنسبة للمواد المتوفرة. تقريبا أغلب المواد هتكون هنا تحت الاعتبار أو ممكن نأخذها بعين الاعتبار، ونبدأ بعملية أول عملية نسميها سكرينينج أو عملية اختيار للمواد الأنسب. فراح تتقلص عند القائمة هنا بناء على تحديد الوظيفة الرئيسية اللي هو الأداء اللي من متطلبات الأداء للمونتاج. في المرحلة الثانية